again, and we are going for Xinca by graemevood, who is a member of the red team, I believe. Just double check that I've got that right. Yeah, we're on the red team. Now, as yet, Graham hasn't filled out the form, so he was in chat earlier, so maybe we've got a chance, but if not, we're just going to play with default settings and we'll go from there. So Graham, I think, placed pretty well in CC. I wasn't. I was kind of moving house when we were doing the CC contest, so I haven't really kept up with that one at all. Every contest is about weird course names. So I know he had a good course in that contest, but I just can't place the name because I kind of completely zoned out for that contest. And farms, always farms. Yeah, we'll just give this a play. Okay. Right. This one looks to have maybe farms. We are Delta, and we got some kind of created mountains, some super low lighting, which I can already tell you is too low. Like, kind of just looking from here. Oh, we've got all sorts of city buildings around here. Interested to see where these pop up. Tennis courts, some ravines and stuff. Quite a wide course. I kind of wish I had the contest notes because I've got no idea where this is meant to be placed. If anyone's on the... you hate Delta. Sure. If anyone's on the forums and could let me know where this is meant to be. Is Spain, is it? I see. We've got a dual waterplane trick, which... okay, we will look at. And we have some that aren't, and... yeah. We'll work our way through this. Delta is quality. You're just wrong. Okay, let's see what we've got. I mean, I 100% think the first comment is lighting is just too low. Because this sort of glary haze, you can't really see anything, and it does just make it kind of hard to see quite a lot of things. You can see the water hazard over here. So I have no issues with that. Trying to work out why you've done the dual waterplane technique, and I don't really know. Bunker sculpting could use a little bit of work. We probably need to drop the front bits. As you can see, it's going up towards the bunker. Whereas we could be dropping this bit and that exposes more of the bunker. Planting, I think the trees definitely fit the Spanish kind of vibe I think you're going for. Maybe. But the rough isn't always going into it. I don't know, it's odd. But the green showing through from up here looks really confusing. Anyway. Okay. You don't like the stain it leaves around the water? In which case, just paint heavy rough close to it. Would sort that. I don't. Yeah. Okay. I think generally dual waterplane is for getting around something. Okay. Green is very benign, which is good after what we've just played. I don't really think we need the fairway long, or at least not all of it. We certainly don't need this bit here. And it's not providing a tee or anything. Or is it? No. Yeah, I'd question why we've got this bit of fairway, because I don't think it's adding anything to the look. And I'd cut it generally where the low point is rather than going up to the high point, because nobody's ending up on this bit. And that should hopefully just sit and grab. Oh. Again, we'll take that. I think some bits of the planting look really good. The grasses look a touch incomplete where we haven't got them up here. I think this is the thing with grassing. As soon as you commit to doing it somewhere, it's kind of got to be most places. Yeah, no, I get the bit. Sorry, let's make this really clear, because I totally get why you've got this bit as fairway. I don't understand why this bit is fairway, because it goes up and nobody is ending up here. Like, if it's a fairway runoff, have the runoff be fairway, but it's not running off there and rolling all the way up here. So that bit would be heavy rough because nobody's using that. Okay, second hole. Drivable? Possibly. Taking on a big risk. OB? OB. And it is marked. I saw some markers. And they're not... Yeah. They're not the clearest, but people need to know to look, so that's fine. I think, again, bunker shapes I like. I like these ones and these ones. This one a little less so. Like, where you've done your jaggedy edges, I think they work really nicely. They're kind of more... what's the word? I guess less ragged edge bunkers, I think, aren't doing as much of the heavy lifting for you. It's the sculpting that I would look at. So again, the front edge of the bunker, this part we want to be dropping a bit more so that you're exposing more of the sand, because that's what gives you the visual off the tee. Because you've got this whole bit of the bunker that I just can't really see off the tee. It's just like, you can see it's that one flat white line here. And as soon as we kind of pop our heads back up, we can see it, which is usually a pretty good clear indication that we can tweak the sculpting a bit. Fairway running off into the OB area is brave. People will not like that, but it's fine. It's completely fair. We're just going to hit a 3-wood up this way. Yeah, bunker sculpting would definitely be a focus. This bunker sculpting is not great. Just, we need to be lowering this land. You can see there's a low point here. This bit's kind of flat the whole way across. This bit's high, this bit's really low, this bit's middlish. Like, there's been a couple I've looked at, and I think that'd be a real area for focus that I'd imagine judges will pick up on. I've enjoyed this hole. I really like as a short kind of uphill hole. I think works well. It's potentially drivable, but you wouldn't really want to go for it. So where are we now? Let's put off a little bit by the house. Okay, so we've gone off up to here. It strikes me you have used a lot of the plot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sculpting, I'd say again, I think your sightline can be better here, just because there's a lot of this fairway that we can't see. We can't see that the fairway is cutting in here from the tee. And it's to do with it being really downhill and this bit being high. So you want to make that dip go down pretty gradually so that we can see all of it, rather than when this suddenly disappears, we can't see anything below that. So when this dips down suddenly and the fairway cuts in, we just can't tell that that's happening. And yeah, we've got scout cam, but we want to show as much as we possibly can do off the tee. I think if I've hit that just about well enough, we should head down to the left hand side. Yeah. I would like to see that slope a little bit less severe as well. I think if we're smoothing that out, then we're dealing with more of a red slope lie wherever we end up on, and that presents you with a bit of a different challenge. I like the big green slopes you've used. I think they make sense. Okay, 7 miles an hour. Loft on. Oh, the red slope put paid to that. Again, I kind of query our fairway shaping as well. I don't understand why if we've got a fairway runoff area here, I don't really get the like winding in here. Like, why not this bit? Either mound it up or have fairway cutting more straights. Just, yeah. But that is kind of a personal style thing. I think generally think it works better, and it's done by most architects, but it is more of a personal preference than other critiques. I've played this hole horrendously. So this is, and I'm aware I'm spotting a lot of things at once. When you've used as much of the plot as you have done, and you've done as many city buildings as you have done, what that's giving you a lot of trouble with is grasses. And there have been some areas where you have, and some areas which really could use some extra bits of planting, like under these trees and things. It just looks a touch bare. Well, at least we've made a par. We will take that. Nice little par 3. This is the trickiest green by a mile. I really like the little river. I would love to be able to see it just a bit more. Drop the land here a little bit more. And just give us a bit more of a view. I'd keep coming back to this view and just querying, have you got everything in view that you want to? I think bunker shape here is okay. I think you can do a little bit more with the shaping here just to make it really pop. Good short hole. I do like the planting in the background. Yeah, fast was always the miss I kind of didn't mind having. Good evening. And got lucky again. Getting away with a few tonight. It's kind of again with the blind hazard that we can't really see. Like, I know you'd probably have a yardage book, but just be really wary of hiding things like out of bounds. Just 1 second, I'm interested on one thing. Because we have had a ton of downhill tee shots. So we've gone there. We're up here. Okay, so we've had a couple of big climbs from green to tee, which is one way of doing it. This was significantly uphill. Okay. Big green. I think you can cut off a bit of this green. It's a little too big for the shot it's receiving. and could use some more slope if it. But I do like that we're hitting off a red slope this time. That adds some more interest. And we've got that slope that can potentially push it a little closer. Might be good. Just needs a bounce. Not too bad. Yeah, I think if you compared this green size to some of the others, it's going to end up being a good 20-30% bigger. And if you look at, I think for me, usually is a really good test is like, can I put 4 pins on here that play significantly differently while still feeling like common? We could put 2 up here, 2 here, 2 here. I think you've got, which probably means we can lose about a third. Whether you shortened it, like you could have the green just be this section, I think would be normal. Or like, you could have it being here and like lop off bits there, but I reckon we're about a third too big. Phew, that was not a good part either. Okay, we've got another downhill tee shot, which is starting to feel like we're cheating a little on the routing, because yeah, that's where the green was. We've walked back uphill. Like if you're playing it in real life, you're going to get tired very quickly from that. I like the fence work and taking us. Are we taking it back to the clubhouse or like just a little area? Okay. Oh, that's all me. Yeah, that's not happening. I don't think that is either. No, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. That's a pretty standard bogey. Well, no, I mean, that was 32 feet downhill. The previous par 5 we were hitting down 25 feet. We've had quite a lot of downhill. I'd say, well, all bar 1 tee shot has been downhill. Which, like, if it's 5 to 10 feet is not really an issue. Lighting is, yeah, we're blinding here, unfortunately. This is the problem with if we go super low sun, we end up with, we can't really see that much of all the good work that you've done. Because I had absolutely no idea that fence was there. Go in. Ah, did not deserve it. Let's go back to the tee, because I'm going to don't want to do it a disservice. As you can see, because it's so into the light, we can't really tell anything other than that there's a green there, there's some bunkers there. I've got no idea where the green begins or ends. Planting is kind of incidental. It's just because the lighting is too low. Yeah, I mean, it can work well. It's just it becomes such a double-edged sword. Because yeah, here again, I think you've done some really nice planting, but because of the shadow and the depth, that we can't see as much of it as we would like. Because actually, I think this is done really nicely. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good there. Yeah, this looks great. Just, you can't really see it as much. Um, bunker shapes again a little hit or miss. I think you're trying to do the right thing with this one. It's just gotten a little bit narrow here. Like, just really take your time redrafting bunkers. The tee shot framing is good. I like the river and the way you put it. The tee shot itself, I think, is kind of just hit between the bunkers. I would kind of again query fairway shaping. The little lobe we've got out here is purely going to carry us into a bunker if we bounce on it. It's not really there for, like, it's not there to be used per se. I do like the little gully you've got, because this is making me think about where I play this and whether I lay up. And like the dry kind of riverbed, I think works really well. So I'm hoping we see more. Yeah, it looks like we will see more of that. Framing fairway. Yeah, bunker sculpting again, like this little bit, you'd want to be going low with that, so that drops down. This bit's like high side, low side, and try to work that. That's too long, but it's better than being short, I think. Ah, that's disappointing. So again, this is where we're hitting over this really nicely planted area we've done. Again, just sightline off tee. This tee is causing you all the problems because it's a forward tee that you don't really care about. If you move it over here, drop this land, we get a view of that ravine that you want us to hit over, which I think would be much, much better. Also, the bridge, I think, is causing you some issues with your sculpting because it's so high and then the land dips off pretty dramatically afterwards. That's causing issue through the sightline too. And then we've got some water over here that we can't see, which that's now happened 3 times, which is a bit of a red flag for me. This bunker I really like more like this. And the reason this one works so well is because it's bigger, so you've got more space to do the like windy shapes and things. This one is the best bunker on the course by an absolute mile. Like, rinse and repeat, this is great. I really like the green site. I think you're probably trying to make the creek a touch too narrow. And I don't like the slope off into heavy rough, and that's the same. Well, it is kind of fairway, but it might as well be heavy rough because there's so little fairway. I'd be saying that's the same for everyone. Just fairway off in green off into rough is just not great. I do like hitting at the skyline. I think that works pretty well. It's a bit of a crowned pin. Not egregiously so, but there's no... Yeah, I guess we're hitting a wedge in. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. On a longer hole, I would be taking more exception to the pin. Cool, back 9. Long par 3 to start. This bunker has some more sculpting issues in that the land in front is high and then it goes low, and you can see you've had to jack up the back quite a lot because of the land in front of it, really. Now, that said, green itself, I'm okay with this one being... I think this one's a bigger green again than ones we've had before, but given that you've allowed us excuse me, you've choked off the kind of like runoff up a little bit, so therefore I'm okay with this because we're kind of hitting generally into one area. The big slope off at the back, I think we can accomplish that a little bit more neatly, but it serves a good purpose because we can't just blast straight at it. For me, I think it's this. Night Trackland, good to see you and thank you for joining. Oh, I might need to slow down. Oh, we're okay. .161 is a slightly strange green speed to have gone for, given that the choice we've got as schedulers would be fast at 163. Okay, Centerline Bunker kind of feels like it's come out of nowhere a little bit. We haven't done one before, which isn't the end of the world. Just feels a bit of a departure from what we've been doing, because suddenly we've got a super wide fairway. I don't really see much benefit in going either way. Guess it just shortens it. Sculpting again, you want your low side and your high side. Like, high side's got to be this side based on where we're approaching it from, therefore this bit needs to be lowered a good 3 feet or so. We'll go down this way, and what it kind of means is it does make your sightline much more difficult because these bunkers look like they're bleeding together off the tee a little bit, and it's because we can't really see this bit of the bunker other than the very top line. Somewhere around about here. Okay, and a 3-mile wind. Hey, the other thing that's striking me a bit more, you've got this awesome water hazard here. I would love this to be in play a bit more, because although I'm kind of hitting, even with this pin, because the green's so big, I don't feel I need to hit anywhere near the water. I'll probably go in it now, that's pretty standard. But like, I don't think there's that much reason to take it on. And with the angle we've got off the tee, yeah. I think if you've got water or out of bounds or something that's a really strategic element, let's make that the focal point of the whole design. Because I think you've shown that you can do the environment stuff, and the off-course stuff is great. Alright, 12. Again, we're kind of hitting down towards a hazard we can't really see, and I think slope is too severe where it is. I like the idea, this just needs some help with the sculpting and softening a bit. I don't think you need these 4 bunkers at all. Yeah, fair enough. We all have those. Every course has a black sheep. Like with this one, I totally get the idea of like you get an advantage for playing close to the water. I think the slope and how you're trying to do it is great. Just soften out that slope a little bit so it comes as a little bit less of a if people don't bounce off the slope hard and just career into the water, which will piss people off. But I think this one makes a much better use of the creek bed that you've got, albeit something I would have changed slightly. Oh, very close. Can we bounce off the bridge? It's for precisely this reason I would generally, and this is not a critique, but I would put your bridge somewhere over here, just so, or back here or somewhere that people aren't going to bounce off the. Oh, so close. Yeah, you can. So here again, I'd be looking really carefully at, if we're going uphill, can we make sure that water is visible from this shot? Just, it will mean dropping this land and keep coming back to this spot and playtesting and checking. But like, let's make sure, and it's really difficult, let's make sure we can see that water. I think you're doing absolutely the right thing with like these bigger bunkers with the more intricate shapes. Like, that's what would have really worked for this course visually. Definitely keep going with those rather than these ones, which are kind of just there. This one's better, the one at the back, but these ones tend to get a bit deep at the bottom. Alright. I think this is probably the shot we want. I'm fine with the fast, it's a bit of a bailout. But it should feed over a little bit. Ooh. Huh. I don't really want to go too far up this. Or let's just see what happens. Yeah, I did kind of worry about that. Ah well, that's an annoying 3-pub, but don't think you needed to do the 2 central trees. And if you did, I'd probably rejoin the fairway around here, but this is always going to feel a little bit gimmicky. I think you can just stick with an idea of bunkering one side and just go with feel comfortable that a hole can be just good with a simple idea. I don't really see why you'd go right of it either. Does it maybe get you? Yeah, it's short enough that I'd always go this side. Should be alright. Yeah, but I don't think it matters because the distance, because we'd have to hit less club, which means we're hitting a longer shot in to something that rolls away. I still hit down here and hit a wedge every time because you can play to there, and that the margin for error on that shot's so much easier. That's why that's why I was saying I'd have joined the fairways so that we're not artificially kind of cutting off that tee shot. Okay. Yeah, bunkering is getting much better. Again, just drop the land in front of it so we can see it all, but much improved because we can only see from the tee. We can only see this part of this bunker, which is like an eighth of it. Like the green sloping, so really want to be further down the right hand side than I'm going to be able to get. Let's just go through it. I think your main thing you need to work on is just sculpting and land movement and what can I see that I want to, because again, I don't think you want me to be blind from here. Same with bunker sculpting and just constantly going back to that tee view. So that's been the thing time after time for me. Hopefully hang just right at the pin. Ah. Yeah, smoothing that little runoff would help as well. Alright, 4.35 finish. Short forward, perfect place for it. Why would I not go for it? I guess it must be wind dependent. Really like the view. It's a bit more open off the tee. We can really see the water. Works well. So it may end off slightly to the right. That's fine. It's an easy chip and putt, hopefully. You'd hope you'd make this one. Like, as an up and down, that is. Yeah, I think I'd have liked a little bit more danger on the tee shot. I guess it's different if you're carrying a different driver though. Drivable 4, short 3. It got a bit of a waypoint issue in that what it's defaulting me to is here, so I don't know where you put your waypoint and why it's not going. Again, I think that's a play test and just mess around with it until you get it right. I like the big bunker and the fact that we can't see the green, like the foot of the green. I think that works really nicely. On a short hole you can take a bit more liberties with this. I really just wish we could see that planting a little bit more. You've gone low lighting and very close trees, which is always going to be difficult to manage. I think that should be good though. I mean, fun last 2 holes for match play coming down the stretch for sure. Righty, final hole. And we've got a par 5 to close. Yeah, we've got a waypoint thing again here. So I can see why I might not go for this one. I don't think I'm getting anywhere near this pin, but we're going to give it a go. Too much fun not to. Fast is probably not helping. It's ridiculous how quickly you can slow that. I do like that. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't have had the water come in here. I think this starts to feel too much like a little island fairway. Although, don't hate it. I think that's more personal decision. But I like the forced carry to the green. I think that's a good way to finish up. Okay, so there we go. For me, that's like, I don't know what you put on your form because it hasn't come through to me yet. But I would imagine that's kind of CC sort of level. Would seem to fit well for me. I think the greens were certainly CC level, and they were very easy to putt on, which was nice. Particularly after the last one, which was much more of a grind. Actually, variety of holes were good. I thought the ideas were good, particularly on, actually, interestingly, the ones that you said that you thought were a little bit more difficult to get right. Was it either 11 or 12? One of those par 4s that you said you were struggling with. I thought the idea was good. I think it was 12. I think my main things would be the sculpting, as we say. Lighting didn't, I think, hurt more than it helped. And what was the other one? yeah, because lighting meant we couldn't see a lot of the planting, which I think is a real strength of the course. Um, Sculpting both kind of on fairway, just softening out those big slopes. And then the final one would be just like, don't feel you need to do something crazy with every single hole. So we had the centerline trees hole, which felt like it was just to be like something different. You don't always need to do that. Just a good idea done really well. It can be all you need. But yeah, enjoyable. Best luck in the contest. Right, I'm gonna sign off here. I'm probably gonna do another 2 tomorrow. I think we've got Petro and Matty's coming up, and then we're gonna try to do that a little bit earlier tomorrow, and then running into Dan's kind of World Cup draw show. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much for watching along, and see you tomorrow.